For people listening to us, go to www.starfmonline.com and click on live studio and see live pictures, live feed.
Giving me maximum exposure.
You're most welcome. But tell me, what have you been up to, Nana Akufo Addo? I mean, yes, since 2012. Walk us through.
Well, as you know, most of 2013, I was in the court. I was in the Supreme Court prosecuting the election petition that I brought to the court against the Electoral Commission and the President. The end of which, when the court dismissed our petition, not just me, but Bola Ray, my son. I went to England for about 6 months. I wanted to take a rest. I've been up and down in politics for years without having any proper holiday. So I went to England for about 6 months to commune with myself, to commune with my God, to talk about life, and find out which way we were going to go. And then came back at the end of the first quarter of last year, saying to myself that if at home people wanted me still to be engaged in the political arena, I felt I was ready to get back. So I came back and made the announcement that I was ready to give it another try. And after that, all the events that took place, in 2014, the election of our party officials, and came the election of the candidate itself in August.
You've been quite busy, man.
Absolutely.
In all of this, Nana, walk us through the first day when you left the Supreme Court for the first time. Tell us, what was running through your mind? You came back, you had a press conference, you addressed party faithfuls. In your mind, what was it like?
Well, of course, obviously disappointment. You go to court thinking you're going to win, coming away and being told by a very narrow majority, 5-4, that you had lost. That was a disappointment. But I felt that it was important that I should conduct myself well, because the country was, as it were, very, very tense, and any misstep on my part could bring about unnecessary problems for Ghana. We're interested in making democracy work in Ghana, not that it will stumble and get into problems. So I thought it was extremely important that as soon as possible I should try and make a contribution to bringing the tension down in the country. And I think people know that we should all go about our business as usual. I didn't think it was my duty to create a situation whereby there would be problems in Ghana because of my personal ambition. I didn't think that was right. So it was necessary to speak. So very soon after I came out of the court, I sat down with my son and one or two people, and we brought out my speech. You know about what I said. Yes, I was disappointed. But I felt that it was important that I should accept the decision of the court and called upon members of my party and their sympathizers to do the same and to say that it was now time for us to move on. And I took the opportunity also to tell the country at the time that I didn't want to continue the judicial process. We had the opportunity of going for a review, and a decision as narrow as that would have been the subject matter of the review quite easily. But I thought that the country had gone through this 8 months, 9 months of the process, and that it was now time to get
What was that, a personal decision, or you were impressed upon to do that, not to go for the review?
No, it was my own instinct, but at the same time, of course, the chairman of the party was around. It was with me all the time. That's about me and was my running mate. So we discussed it, and this was the conclusion that we came to, that it was important to cut the ball and not accept that the matter was over. The election of 2012 was now closed. We should bring closure to it. It was now closed. And then we should look forward to the future and call upon Ghanaians to do the same. That's how it came about.
You seem cool, composed, and coming to you, many have said that you're a man that will just say it as it is without fear or favor. But you've come across as arrogant and somebody who look down on people and despise them. How does that get to you, Nana Akufo Addo?
Not too much. I understand a lot of that as being the workings of my political opponents, because after all, image is everything. And if you can give a bad image to somebody, it's the whole process of giving a bad name and hanging it. I know myself, and I knew that I didn't measure up to any of what I consider to be a caricature of myself. So I was not wired. I was wired in the sense that if it took hold of the imagination of people, of course, then it would be very counterproductive. But it didn't worry me in the sense of thinking, oh my God, people are saying no.
Does that get you worried sometimes, and you said, well, there's not who I am, or?
No, because I think that at the end of the day, the vast majority of Ghanaians have seen through that. They see that it was nothing more than propaganda, negative propaganda, but that was propaganda nevertheless. And that they instinctively they know that it's a caricature, it isn't the real me. So I continue. The only way you can answer...
Who is Akufo Addo?
That's not a question. That's a difficult question. I don't know about people, but I'm one of those who find it difficult to talk about myself as to who I am. I'm more interested in talking about the things that I want to do for myself.
But as a personality, how will you grade yourself or assess yourself?
And by that, what do you mean? Is a good person, a bad person?
No, I mean character-wise. How do you see yourself? I mean, are you open?
Very affable, very open, quite a generous person. I'm very interested in the human intercourse, the dialogue. I'm quite a gregarious person. I like a lot of people around me.
Really?
All the time, yes.
You through good parties? You have friends around?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Less now that I'm maturity.
Growing up, how was it like? I mean, a party for Nana Akufo Addo. You used to get friends around and...
Oh, lots. First of all, my house, growing up, was a place full of people because my father was involved in Ghanaian politics right at the center. He was one of those who brought about the nationalist movement, one of the big six, etc. So you can imagine our house was always full of people upside down. I remember thinking to myself as a young child that I don't know, whatever it was that my father was doing was a good thing because it seemed to affect a lot of people. And that if I grew up and everything went okay, I would like to do whatever it was that he was doing because you saw that lots of people were affected. The house was constantly full of people coming in and out. And you just, as a little kid, you wonder to yourself, really, what's going on here? But whatever it was very exciting. My very first memories, concrete, hard memories, were in fact of the riots in 1948. It must have been about four.
Yeah,
exactly. It was 4 at the time. And our crowd was really hard. I remember people screaming in and out, shouting, screaming, coming in. And my father and the leaders of the time also were there, but they were very calm. I suppose you have to be when you're at the center of it. And I said to myself, wow, this is very exciting. I don't know what it's all about, but it's very exciting. And somehow or other, that has been something that has buoyed me up and lifted me up all my life.
And Nkrumah lived in your home sometimes.
He spent a lot of time there.
Really? So why not an Nkrumah? That's a question I really want to find.
There was a brief period when I was attracted by his ideas.
You met up with him and you engaged?
Yes.
As a little boy?
As a little boy, yes. I don't know about engaging, but I certainly met with him. No, at the end of the day, I share different ideas, and I think that's okay. I think it would be a pity if we had a Ghana where everybody thought the same and went one way. I think it's very important that we should have a country where there's as diverse amount of thinking about public affairs as possible, because it is in the intercourse between all these various views that probably will get the best from the country. So it's important. Human beings are not robots. The good Lord made each one of us different, and it's important that we recognize that and do something with it, but do something with it positively, so that the differences can come together and form a really good, solid whole for the society.
It leads me to talk about growing up. You were born right there in Nima?
Yeah, no, I was born in Swalaba.
In Swalaba. Walk us through Swalaba and growing up, and we'll talk about your educational background as well.
Swalaba, then from there I went to live in Kobby.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where my father lived in those days. As I said to you, I was very gregarious. I lived a lot on the streets.
Very social being, right?
I lived a lot on the streets. This whole gutter to gutter and all of that.
You've done that?
It's very much part of my life as a kid. Very rebellious young boy.
Very stubborn?
Yeah, and it meant that our house too was very tempestuous because my father was determined to give me some discipline. And he was an old-fashioned old Presbyterian type. And he believed also about spare the rod and spoil the child. So there's several occasions when I had some good little taps on my bottom to put me into line.
Like so, what? You were whipped or you were smacked?
No, the way that in those days, parents sometimes would just, bend down and give
Is this something that you subscribe to? Is this something that you
didn't do for my own children?
You did it?
I did it. I think that by the time we grew up, all of us would recognize that perhaps wasn't the way to go. Didn't do too much for me because I still remained very sort of obstinate and rebellious. And that's what I remember. But I remember also enjoying very much my childhood. As I say, once, first of all, because the house was always very exciting, different kinds of people coming in and out.
How many siblings?
We're 4 altogether. Myself, 2 girls, and another boy. So we're 4. I have 4 children. More or less close together. The sister after me is 15 months younger.
Okay.
And then we had another one who's 3 years younger than me. And my brother was 7 years younger. So we more or less all grew up together. And it made for fun. I enjoyed it. Our father was a very interesting man. He was involved in big things, but he always had time for us. And both he and my mother have traits that I up to today, I still treasure very much. They never,
what traits are we talking about?
We're talking about treating you as an adult, even when you were very little. Talking to you, not in this language, but talking to you as if you were an adult, and expecting you to behave as one from a very early age. And I later in life, at the time, I didn't quite understand it, but I remember later in life, I recognized it was something that was done which helped.
You appreciate those values?
Much later, I came to appreciate them a lot. Because I think they do a lot for your self-confidence. When you find you're able to have a discussion with older people, you don't stumble. They don't say, what a silly thing to say, but that you're in a position to express yourself and bring your ideas out as you think best. And they appreciate those ideas where they think either out of ignorance or something they need to correct you, they correct you. But they correct you in a manner which, for me, was constructive in terms of, helping you think better, helping you to go and get the correct information, read more.
It must have been a beautiful upbringing. I'll come to the reading bit because somewhere, in the UK, when you were in school, your father used to bundle, English newspapers and bring it to you. And there's a story in there that I'll come up to. But let's talk about growing up and schooling here in Ghana. Which schools? Which primary school?
I went to Saito. I went to the Government Boys School.
Oh, you went to Saito. Which school?
Government Boys School.
Government Boys School. Okay.
That's where I began.
When was the last time you visited them? Maybe to say hi to you guys.
Really, that's just too bad. The other day when we were in the demonstration, about a month ago, when we went past there, it was from there some of the children came to say hello to me.
Oh.
Who got into all the flack.
It was from the Government Boys School?
From the Government Boys School. And I said to myself, goodness, here's my old school. And I haven't been there for years. I said, well, one of these days I'm going to make it up in Popping and find out how things are doing.
How was life back then in the 50s, early 50s?
It was an exciting time. It was an exciting time in Ghana because it was the time of the nationalist movement when it burst out. We had these, Kwame Nkrumah had come, they formed the CPP, the political struggle was on, and the whole nation was gripped by these coming events that we were all looking forward to, the freedom of our nation. And you felt that you were living in a special time. It was an exciting time to be around in Ghana. As I said to you, I'm very gregarious. I was also somebody very much into sports.
Oh, you were?
In Ghana, sports was also the beginning of it. At that time, football, which is the main thing, which continues so.
You played?
Very much so, very much so.
Oh, so you're a great footballer.
Great, but
You think that now you'd have earned a call up into the national team? Because you played for the Republicans.
I played for Republicans. I think that if I played really serious, perhaps, yeah.
Which team now would we have? Foreign team out there. But Real Madrid. If maybe you should have gone out there and be that international.
I'm not so sure about that. But the teams I support.
Yes.
I support Asante Kotoko.
Okay.
Strong Kotoko man.
I heard.
From day one, I saw the great Kotoko players play. I said, GOMEZ-MENSAH, a young boy, I saw them all play. Then Flagbearer, Mohamed Salisu, Dobomoro. I saw all those people play. CK Jeffy was playing for Kotoko.
You still love Kotoko?
I still
love You follow them closely?
I follow them closely. It's not as closely as I should, but I still keep an eye on them. I'm a big supporter of the other side that you mentioned, Real Madrid.
Okay.
Yeah, because as a young boy at school in England, it was the time of their greatness. And the time when they were winning the European Cup year after year. And the great players who played for them at the time were an inspiration for all of us. Di Stefano, Ferenc Puskas, Ento, Santa Maria, Del Sol, all these places.
You should be a commentator. Maybe not for politics, you've been a great commentator.
That's my other life.
Oh, really? That's your other life. Good to know. And also Tottenham Hotspur as well.
Yes, they're also.
What about them? I'm surprised. I mean, you're not doing Chelsea, you're not doing Manchester United, you're not doing...
Once again, a lot of times you get to support teams when you're a kid. Yeah, and most of us pick the best team of the time to support when you're young, and then they become your team. When we were growing up, Tottenham Hotspur was the big side. It was the first side in the last century to do the double, winning the league as well as the FA Cup final. It had not been done in the 20th century until the side of Danny Blanchflower. Tottenham did it in 1960-61.
Your knowledge in football is impeccable.
I love the sport. So I follow it. I love the sport. Up till today, I love it. Yeah.
But also not football, you also do some squash.
Yeah, I used to play a lot.
Yes, you were the national squash champion in the 70s.
That's right, that's true.
How did that make you feel? You had a lot of ladies, because, I mean, you were popular. Yeah.
I think the rigor, squash is a very, very, very rigorous game. I don't know whether you play it or you know it.
Yeah.
But it's very, very tiring, very exhausting. So as a way of keeping fit, it's immaculate.
Right.
So
Many say some of the bourgeois is for the upskill people and all of that. You reckon?
I don't know. I mean, the courts are difficult to come by. Unlike tennis courts, which can be done in the open, squash courts are in closed places, and there are not that many around, so it's not so difficult, not so easy to access to it. But as a game, it's a very exciting game, and it's very uplifting.
That's right.
So I enjoy
You still play?
No, I don't.
You don't?
Yeah, no, I don't. I think it's one of those games after a certain time you have to be careful. It blows you out.
I know. Live on Star 103.5 FM, and my guest is the presidential candidate of the NPP, Nana Akufo Addo. Yes, we're live, and we're live on Ultimate FM in Kumasi 106.9, Ago 96.9 FM in Ikoko, Kasapa 102.3 FM right in Accra, Accra 102.7 in Takrady, and we're streaming live on www.starfmonline.com. When did England come in, Nana?
Standard 4. I was in Standard 4 at Row Road, Government Middle Boys School at Row Road. When father called me in one day after school and said that he and my mother had decided that myself and my two sisters, we should go to school in England. It's flabbergasted.
How did he take that?
I was really surprised. The whole thing didn't really make sense to me. Where was that? And why would I be going there? Anyway, in the end, it became reality. We were put on the boat. In those days, you had to go to England by boat.
Oh, by boat. How's the experience like? For people like us who didn't get to experience that, now you go, by plane?
Yeah, 6 hours.
Okay.
Then it was something like 17, 18 days.
17 days?
Yes, on the boat. Held the Dempster line. I think we went by SS. Yeah. From the second year. Temporarily from there. Ended up in Liverpool. And then.
How was the experience like being right there?
It was really extraordinary. What is the expression that is used? Mind-blowing. Because it was a whole
epic.
Yeah, a whole new universe was open. The sea, travel. Fortunately, it turned out that I was quite a good traveler. I didn't fall sick and have seasickness.
Yeah.
One of my sisters was always seasick. It was a miserable journey for her, but it wasn't for me. It worked out very well. And that's what happened. So I then went to prep school in England, to secondary school.
Which school? I mean, I know we'll talk about some of your mates and all of that and where they are now, but what has through their life in England?
Homehouse, prep school, homehouse, public school, secondary school, and arts and college.
Whereabouts in London?
It's in Sussex, outside Brighton.
Okay.
The prep school was a place called Spelthurst Green, which was by Tunbridge Wells. One of the things that was very encouraging about that place, for me, psychologically, was that I think it was there that I shed any idea about whites being superior to blacks. First of all, my father had said to me before I left that it was likely that I would have to miss a year as far as my contemporary was concerned, because it may be that the learning and the teaching, the stage I had got to Standard 4, that government boys' school would not be equivalent to what 10-year-old English boys learned at the time.
Okay.
So I should be prepared for that. That I'd probably go a year back. But nevertheless, after a time, I'll be able to catch up. So I shouldn't let it worry me. So I went and I did the exams, and it turned out that I went into the class of 10-year-olds. I said to myself, well, this is great. It meant that whatever I had been learning at the school in Ghana was perfectly adequate. And subsequently in life, I recognized that it was a very important development for me because it meant that the kind of schooling and instruction we're going through here, public school, state school,
Saito
in Ghana, was very adequate. It meant you could compete at the same level as your English equivalents. And it was something that stayed with me for the rest of my life.
You were then an extraordinary student. I mean, a brilliant student at that, or maybe you received extra tuition or something.
No. It was kind of fault because a member of the class. I used to do quite well in the class, not always fast, but up there, second, third, fourth, that kind of thing. But what, as I said, it did a lot for my self-confidence because it meant that I could compete with whites of my own generation, as it were, and not feel any inferior. And ever since then, it's been a driving force in my life. What they could do, we could do.
And even better.
And why not?
How was nightlife like back then, you know, maybe in the 50s, 60s out there in London, out there as a young man?
London, too much. I never know too much nightlife because the holidays are coming.
Oh, okay.
My father insisted that because of the language, he was very keen on us not losing touch and speaking Tree and all that. Most holidays we will come.
So you speak Tree fluently?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sure. I want to say country or Montio.
Oh, Zara.
Hey. Sa, Chebipa. Okay. You will go. We are outside. Okay.
Yeah, a little bit.
Right.
So, but as I say, so I knew more about nightlife here than I knew about nightlife.
How was nightlife here in Ghana back then? I mean,
we're talking about the year of Flagbeats and Ramblers and who were then the big high life artists of the time. They were fun.
You attended some of their gigs?
Absolutely. Metropole and then Ringway Hotel. My father's hotel. We played there a lot. Metropole. Seaview Hotel. Those are the hot places.
You used to chill out.
Those were the hot places in the crowd when we were growing up.
Okay.
They were fun places. I enjoyed it. Open air. Very different from what came
really?
later with discotheques. No, those were open air places.
So they were doing live band music?
Live bands there. That's why I speak about the Ramblers. I speak of Blackbeats, Stargazers, Glowmasters, all of those people. They were the musicians of our time. Very talented. I'm sure that if they were around today, they'd be doing so well and making themselves a lot of money. Those days they didn't do so well.
Are you a proponent of live band music, or you think that synthetic music now is also taking over and is great?
But I think live bands are good. I mean, as much as possible. They give you a real feel of the quality of the music, and they do so much the electronic mixing, people being in the studio, putting things together. But the genuine creativity and the ability of people, I think that's it.
Rambless it is, and I'm just playing you one, and then we'll come back. Right here on Star FM, we'll be back with more.
Star 103.5 FM.
We'll come back, we'll talk about Lagos days and then
Go
see you're loving this one. Yeah. It's Ramblers and you love our home. Wow. Bring back some memories. You must welcome that.
Absolutely. Thank you very much indeed.
Right. And you know, back then, out there, enjoying these tunes, walk me through it, you know, with days that you used to go out there and listen to the Ramblers. We mentioned other, you know, great bands. And now, what is it that we're missing out?
I don't think it's missing out. It's an evolution. Things have developed, things have changed. Every generation has its own way of recreating things and advancing music, literature, art.
You love our new school music? When it comes to high life?
The little that I hear.
Who's Nana Akufo Addo's favorite high life musician all time?
All time?
Yes.
I mean, there's several people that I like. For instance, as I say, Ramblers, King Bruce, and that.
New school.
New school. Or Lumba has to be high on the list.
Lumba. Why Daddy Lumba?
His music is fun.
So you love Ethiopia by Daddy Lumba?
Anyway, all do, but not for the purposes for which some people use it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What about it? I mean, Ethiopia is a song.
It's a good song. It's a good song. But we name Ethiopia.
Who plays this? And this is Teresa. Teresa.
Okay.
By Daddy Lumba. We'll come back with more.
Star 103.5 FM.
Questions coming through. You can also join us with your 0262518268. 0262518268. And you can come through as well. Kwame from Kumasi, we got your message. Yes, we'll do that. And also from KNUST, listen to us live on campus. But Anna, let's get to meet your family.
Yeah.
Right. So you're married to
Rebecca. Main name was Griffith Randolph.
Randolph Moulton, yeah.
Well, that's her brother.
Okay.
That's her brother. The one president, the man was president, was the man who was the Speaker of Parliament, was a judge. That's Randolph. That's the second
daughter. How did you meet her? Walk us through. Today, let's get to hear the story. Exclusive on Starrchat. Yes.
The second time. And that's when we were both very young.
Okay.
Yeah.
Catch them young.
And then we went our different ways. And then, 18 years ago, 17, 18 years ago, when I found her died, I had not been able to go to the funeral. He was one of the senior people of the community. So when it became the 10th anniversary of his death, I decided that I would go. And when I went, there she was, looking excellent. See this girl again.
That one thing that made you go speechless and say, wow, you should be my wife, Nana. What is it that you saw?
I don't know whether I said you should be my wife, but I said, well, we did see her. I started seeing her, dating her. And then about 6 months later, she was living in England. She had been living